Welcome to Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. Join me, Martin Prendergast, as we go through the squad with Conor McAvoy, who is live from Abbottstown. How you doing, Conor?
I'm good. It's been a good day so far up here at Abbottstown with the squad. So yeah, good to get two squads put out. So I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Trying to keep an eye on Cheltenham, and I had a busy day down in Cheltenham yesterday, watching the Irish dominance continue, hopefully.
Did you meet
But yeah,
any? Did you meet any Irish footballers? I seen there was the Bristol City team was there, West Brom team was there. Did you see anyone famous?
no, not where I was. Not where I was. I was in the posh bits, wasn't I? But good
No.
fun down there. Quieter down with the crowds, but yeah, look, we're looking forward to the Island games against Bulgaria coming up, and Dave and Conor will be travelling over to Bulgaria next week. We've got a lot of stuff coming up with you to cover the Irish football team, obviously playing these two games, and also the under-21s are going to be in action as well. But we sent Conor off to Abbottstown to meet up with Heimir to hear the squad announced. So we're just going to read that through now. We'll put up a visual of it as well. So the squad, which is for the Nations League playoffs, 20th of March and 23rd of March. The goalkeepers, Quiveen Kelleher, Mark Travers and Gavin Bazunu. Defenders, Matt Doherty, Jake O'Brien, Nathan Collins, Darrow O'Shea, James Abankwell. First time he was called up into an Ireland squad. Jimmy Dunn, Robbie Brady and Callum O'Dowda. Midfielders, Josh Cohen.
Will we go through the defenders here first, Martin? Just do you want to, just in case we don't want to miss anyone out? But I just, from your point of view, as someone who is a proud member of the Irish Londoners, as I would call them, Jimmy Dunn seems to be the favourite of everyone in London that's Irish, so it must be a good moment. I'd say all your Risk London mates are delighted because I know a lot of them are QPR fans to see Jimmy Dunn get his chance now in the Ireland setup.
Yeah, it's been positive feedback to that. He has been called up in the past, of course, but it's never really worked out for him. He's a quite adaptable player, I think, as well. Yeah, so the QPR, the Irish R's are very happy, I'm sure, that he's been given an opportunity there. And I think, just generally the defenders. I mean, look, no Seamus Coleman, no Omar Bamadelli, obviously injured. I think it's a kind of good selection on that. I know that previously we did our squads that we expected recently. We got a bit of negative feedback on that, didn't we, Conor? But just to clarify,
I did,
but I mean, look, it was it was what we thought it might be there, and obviously we can't account for speculation that people were injured. And then it's obviously been confirmed. And sometimes we have to go early with our graphics. That's my little covering my arse on that one. But, I think overall, the defenders, did Heimir have anything interesting to say? I know that the FAI have done their YouTube and the announcement. I like the way, actually, the announcement's done where Heimir will go through his kind of views quite quickly and then he opens it up to questions, because I think he can kind of give a lot of his answers or justification for decisions. And then, obviously, the press boys have their pop, as it were. So anything interesting on the defenders?
I think it's just great to see Abankwell called up. He said about how good Abankwell has been for Watford since joining on loan, and the fact he can play right back and centre back. I know Jimmy Dunn seems to be brought in as a right back option, which I think is the right thing to do if you're going to bring him in. I think that, like he said, I'd imagine he was talking about eligible lads that could play for Ireland that he's had very good conversations with, that are possibilities to come in June. I'd imagine Dennis Sirkin probably is one of them lads he's been speaking to. I'm just going off the guess, and I think Ryan Manning getting left out. I think he's always been seen as the fall guy over the last couple of years, and I think probably just because of the weakness defensively that he's been left in the wayside. Even though he had a very good performance against Liverpool last weekend, but probably it was maybe a week too late because the squad probably was as good as picked. I don't think there's much really out on the defenders, because it's good to see Jake O'Brien back in as well, who's deserved it. So the back line's looking strong. Liam Scales left out, but I'd imagine mainly because of the suspended first leg and he's a facial injury he has. But I probably would have dropped him myself, to be honest. I think there's better defenders there, and hopefully when we get closer to June, the likes of Aaron Cashman will start playing, and he could hopefully break into the Ireland setup.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know that I am a fan of Callum O'Dowda, of course, and I just think, though, why he gets selected perhaps over someone like Ryan Manning is that Callum's obviously been in a number of Ireland squads now. He's used to how they want to play. He will always give it 100% as well. I mean, I know there's a little bit of criticism of him sometimes, and he was very poor against Greece a few years ago now, that one. But, he has learned the role. He's doing all right at Cardiff now as captain as well. And I know joke about it, but, I think he was always going to be selected for me. I think it's good to see Robbie Brady in there as well. It's a nice balance. I think that left-hand side, it is a problem position for us in a sense, and we will see players coming through in future, of course. But yeah, overall, I think I wasn't surprised to see that. But and I'm kind of surprised that people think that O'Dowd is going to be left out, to be honest, because he's one of our consistent performers when he's fit, playing for Cardiff. So I think that is something that obviously Heimer's going to put a lot of positives about. Players are actually playing. So just onto the midfielders then: Josh Cullen, Jason Knight, Will Smallbone, Jack Taylor, Finn Azaz, and Mark Sykes. A few people were a bit surprised that Mark Sykes was called up, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we all were, to be honest. I think it's more for the versatility that he has, because whether you even play a back five, he can play as a wing back, and if you play like the 4-4-2 as such we've been doing before, he can play as a right-sided midfielder, and then obviously he can play centrally as well. Me and he'd probably play him out wide. I think that's probably why he's in. And Heimer spoke about the lack of options that can play in the wing. Obviously, I don't think Sykes would be anyone's preference, but I think he's gone for more, like, I know he's not a big fella, but he's very aggressive compared to the likes of Andy Moore, who I think we're all disappointed has missed out on the squad, and we think probably isn't the right thing to do, because you want to have your best young talents in there. And I think it's another highlight of championship loan isn't always the best thing for young lads, because watching him a lot of Stoke this season, he's been drifted out wide, or when he plays in midfield, they don't have the ball, so he can't get on the ball and make things happen. So it's disappointing to see him left out. But listen, I've nothing wrong with Sykes being in. I think he's a good player, and he's very versatile, and he can offer a lot. I think the big talking about Martin is, from a lot of fans, well, social media wise, is John Joe Patrick Finn, which I asked Heimer about, and he said he thought he's been good for Rems. Some games have been good, some games not as much, but he's definitely on the radar, and he's one he's going to continue to watch. And the fact is, he's a young player who's doing well, and if he keeps playing until the end of the season every weekend, I know Rems are in a relegation battle, but if he can help keep them up, and like he's very well liked at the club, I'd say we could see him in June. But it's disappointing not to see him in this, because we want to see lads coming in who have been impressing. Like the likes of Jack Taylor hasn't really been playing. Smallbone, even though he scored last weekend, hasn't played as much lately, but he kind of is like a cert to come in the squad. And then Malumbi is suspended for the first game. I always thought it was 3 yellow cards in the Nations League to be suspended, but he's on 2 and they say suspended, which is quite small number of yellows to get suspended. But he's suspended for the first game. Wouldn't be surprised if he came in for the second game.
Yeah, I think there was kind of alluded to in the footage I've seen. But we will be obviously putting up our YouTube channel the footage from the press conference today as well. So that'll be something that do make sure you follow us on our social channels and subscribe to us on YouTube, so you can watch that later on. Just onto the strikers and attackers. I know that Heimer did say about wingers, how many injuries we have. It's incredible, really. But forwards, then he's picked as Troy Parrott, Evan Ferguson, Adam Eder, Sinclair Armstrong. We're happy about that. Mikey Johnson, and then Rocco Vata. First time he's been called up. We did predict this. We did break this, Conor. Delighted to see that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Rocco's deserved to be called up. I think it's just simple as it's. Even if we had a full squad, I think he'd have to be in there, because what he offers in terms of other wingers, like Johnson, very creatively, brilliant ball carrier. Festy, brilliant ball carrier, rapid pace. Even you could play Sinclair on the wing, but Rocco has that goal threat from a winger, which we lack. And he's left foot, right foot, brilliant finisher creatively. So I think he just had to come in, and he's the standout of all under 21 players over the last probably 6-7 months. So no, it's great to see him coming in as well earned. And I think how happy I am that Sinclair's been called up. It made my night last night when I seen that. But I think Heimer must be a fan seeing me rant on about him. And I said over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we should be picking him for the squad, because he's just something different. And he said himself in the press conference, he's a completely different option to the rest of our strikers, that with his pace, his power, what he can offer is just something we don't really have in the Ireland setup. And particularly, I think Bulgaria, he looks at that as a very physical game, which means he could be used in that sort of setting. And I think he said Tom Cannon was carrying a injury. Well, I think it's just from when he was injured before. But even though he's back now, I think it's an excuse to say why he's been dropped. He just hasn't been playing well. And I think Callum Robinson not coming back, and he never mentioned him. I'm guessing it's just the passing the guard. We're preparing for World Cup qualifiers in September, which he did say is part of his thinking. And as good as Callum Robinson's been in 2025, I think it's to pass in the guard and bring Sinclair through. So I don't know what you think of the forwards. What do you think?
And I'm happy with that. Like, I think we know where we are with Evan, what we want to see from him. I think he'll be given a minutes, obviously, in his camp. Troy as well, I think, deserves it. But yeah, Sinclair is probably the one I'm most excited about, to be honest, because I think we need to be able to adapt and play a different way. And he does offer us something, and I think he's a big, powerful guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in action. And also, I think it is like passing the guard from Robinson. I like there's a lot of pace and power in that kind of forward line now, a little bit. Even Mikey Johnson, very exciting to watch. Seeing he hit the crossbar, didn't he, in midweek when he was playing. And yeah, I just think Sinclair does offer something different. And I think, again, probably a little bit of passing the guard as well. Obafemi, I can't see it happening again.
He started last night. He started last night. I think I've seen some limit because he came off after 52 minutes saying that he actually played well. I think he must be on a minutes restriction. So I'm guessing that's probably why he's not
part of the line.
Why,
oh, right.
But no, I mean minister because he's been quite injury prone. But like he's not near the Ireland setup at the moment. Like he's well off it. But
yeah,
the thing is, he's so talented that he could easily get himself back in that picture.
He could get back in it, but I like Sinclair. I just think he offers us something different. And you think back to that call up against France, and this is the first time he's been back in really. And I'm hoping he gets minutes because I think he probably deserves it on his performances as well. And like I said, he's going to be a different threat.
We were talking about the lack of wingers. I think there could have been a shout made for Idemo Maku coming in after he's been playing. I know he's only really back from injury, 3-4 weeks, but he's done very well since he came back. And we talk about the lack of wingers we have with Ireland. He is probably with pace, power, can finish. Could have been an option. I'd imagine he might have been on the 40-man list, but no, I just think he could have been one for a shout, but obviously it's probably too late.
Yeah, I mean, this 40-man list, though, I mean, that's...
We don't know who's on it. All we know is that
exactly.
Josh Honahan and Johnny Kenny were on it. I think that was just a way of League of Ireland aspect.
That's like our Obig. How many players have we got on Obig? That's our list. It's not theirs. It's not Heimir's list. It's our list. No, very good there. Thank you for your input on that, of course, Conor. Because you're as we know, Conor, your feedback on this on the podcast is based on your deep knowledge, your tactical awareness, and your supreme intelligence. And others involved in the podcast. We're basically football haters who have never watched the game. Sometimes is one of the views of one of the Raw faithful. Anyway, I thought I'd get that in there. Obviously, you're up in Abbottstown. Anything else? Sorry, just before we go on, anything else notable from the main squad?
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
Quavine in action on Sunday. We'll be looking forward to that.
You better be playing, I tell you that, for free. You better be playing. I actually said that Max O'Leary was
having a baby,
his missus having a baby, so he's being left out for that. I don't know whether that's just, as I said, is it an excuse to bring Gavin Bazunu back in as well? I'd imagine you would have brought Gavin Bazunu back in over O'Leary because he hasn't been having the greatest season. O'Leary, I know people like to say he has, but he's not on Bazunu's level talent wise, and you probably would bring him back in. But it's good to see Bazunu come back into the setup.
Yeah, hopefully that'll work out well. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the games now. It's all building up towards it, and obviously we're going to do lots of shows, lots of pre-match. Getting your views as well. We'll be doing a live just to get your views on the squad. Obviously, the lads are going to all be meeting up probably Sunday, and then we'll have match day -5 and all that kind of thing happening, and all the modern football stuff. So yeah, we'll be obviously covering it here. So make sure you do follow us on all the socials, and obviously Conor at Rep Tracker as well. So while you're up in Abbottstown, you've had a glorious day out there, Conor, in the big smoke of Dublin, and you got the under-21 squad as well.
Yeah, I did.
So shall I just run through that?
Yeah, go on ahead.
All right, so the goalkeepers, Noah Journey. Is that it? How you in that? Aaron Maguire. I saw Aaron actually in action a few years ago for Spurs, under against Liverpool Town. Nice lad. I've seen him a couple of times now. Connor Walsh as well, the goalkeepers. This is obviously the new batch of under-21s to some extent. Defenders as well, Connor Barrett, Sean Grehan, Connor McManus, Alex Murphy, Connor O'Brien, David Okakbu, Gabriel Otegbayo, Jacob Slater. Midfielders, Darius Lipsic, Ronan Maha, Jack Morehouse, obviously from United, Jamie Mullins, Adam Murphy, Joe O'Brien, Whitmarsh, and the forwards, Joe Gardner, Jack Hakiki, Mason Melia. Interesting seeing him getting called up into that squad. Marco Mahoney, Franco Ume, and Harry Vaughan. So under 21s, and they are in action just obviously on Friday the 21st against Scotland, and then away to Hungary on Monday the 24th. So a busy period for Irish international football teams, of course, and we're going to have it all covered here, as I said. But from the under-21s, Conor, anything exciting from that?
I think the main talk was about what I said last night about Kevin Zeffy playing for Albania this month. There seems to be a bit of confusion there whether he can play for them this month because of way of FIFA transfer, and even though because it's a friendly, he still would need some documents, and he doesn't have a passport to play for Albania, and even to go train with them, he'd need stuff. So you can probably listen to the full thing on that in our YouTube later, which will be a good listen because Jim talks about that in a lot more detail. I think a big talk with fans is Mason Media being in the 21s over the 19s, even though the 19s have qualifiers, but Jim seems to think that because he's been in the 21s before, he's considered a 21s player now, and he wants him in the 21s to prepare. So, which is a bit disappointing, to be honest, Martin, because I'd like to see him in the 19s because they have a really good group of players, and he would have been the cherry on top, playing up front for them. But which means that Michael Noonan will step up from the 17s and he'll play for the 19s, which isn't a bad second option as such. But no, it's a strong squad. It's good to see Jack Moorhouse come in, who's done very well for Man United and been on the bench a lot of times over the last just a couple of months. And Amarin seems a big fan of him, and brilliant ball carrying midfielder, picks up the ball in the middle of the park and just glides past players, and he'll offer a lot to set up. And Joe Gardner as well from Forest, who's on loan at Lincoln, scores goals, can play up front, can play in behind the striker, can play on the wing, who will offer a lot to set up. So it's an exciting 21s group. A lot of young talent, a lot of lads, like fresh faces as such, that are getting their chance now. Like, he left out Sam Curtis because he wants to see other lads and see what they can do, which isn't an issue, which is good to see that other lads are getting their chance now to impress.
Yeah, I think it's good as well. Like, I think a lot of Irish fans perhaps don't know, obviously, following you as rep tracker and, your insight into these obviously under 17s, 19s, all the underage teams coming through. But a lot of these lads will have all played underage for Ireland, lower than obviously under 21s. So they're very experienced. They've been together in different groups. I think sometimes it's quite fascinating when you look back at an under 21 match program and you'll see like 3 or 4 players now who are in the senior squad and that they were all in underage. You sometimes forget that. And, I think it's exciting now to see like Melia in there is going to be a high profile one in a sense, because obviously the move to Spurs. I think as well, it's good for his profile. Probably Jim wants to kind of probably look after him a little bit. I really enjoy Jim Crawford's press conferences, to be honest, because I think he really talks about he's a great talker, and he talks more. It's all about the development and everything else that's happening there. So yeah, I think good games to look forward to as well. So I know it's a busy window for the senior team, but we will also be keeping an eye on the under 21s in action and these lads who are obviously giving their all for Ireland. So it's going to be very, very good. Anything else notable before we go?
No, I don't know. I think we're just excited now that this is getting closer. We're going to see my dream Finn Zaz slipping balls in behind the Sinclair Armstrong in the counter attack. But no, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good international window. I can feel it, especially with the under 19s and 17s. Them squads will be announced on Sunday, which will be 2 very exciting squads as well. And if the 17s can win their group, they'll qualify for the under 17 World Cup as well, which would be a pretty cool thing for them to go to. And they're a very talented squad. The 19s are a very talented squad.
Oh, we've lost you a little bit there. Gremlins in there. Lost you a little bit there. It started a little bit there. No, it's all right.
No, I was just going to say it was very exciting, and the fact is we're going to have competitive games with the seniors. 21s are friendlies, obviously, and then the 17s and 19s are qualifiers. So it's going to be a hectic international break, Martin. I don't know how I'm going to be able to watch all the matches, but hopefully,
I will try. We'll try.
Hopefully, they're all streamed. Yeah. I'll not be happy if I think Poland hosts the 17s and Germany hosts the 19s. If they're not streaming all the games, I'll be flying out and I'll be having a word with their football associations.
Good stuff. Now, thanks for joining us, Conor, on this, and thank you for watching. Do subscribe to the show, and obviously we will be covering all these games coming up and giving you the very latest news in Irish football. So we thank you for your support, and make sure you do subscribe to us. And we're going to leave it there. So come on, you boys in green.